Hey guys, Jamie here, keeping it koi. Welcome back to the channel, and if you're new, welcome. Hope I can earn your subscription today. So today it's just a real short one. I have been doing some bits and bobs, but that's going to be in another video. Today is just a full update on the koi and how they're doing. Still don't know exactly what was added to the water. Thank you all so much for all your ideas and comments, and we've had everything suggested, from lack of oxygen to bacterial blooms and algae blooms, to even as far as people saying KHV. But the people that's followed my channel from the very beginning will remember I'd already lost all my fish to one of the 3 deadly diseases about 18 months to 2 years ago. Obviously every fish that is in my pond I've had for less than a year. I think the oldest fish I've got in here now that I've had was bought around September last year, so yeah, just over a year old. So yeah, well, the fish was older than that, or some of the fish are older than that, but I mean, I've only had them for a year old. So yeah, no, I'm very familiar with how KHV and CSV and sleeping fish disease, which is the one that got me, and certainly wouldn't be buying from that dealer again. Plus it was an Israeli dealer. But yeah, some good news. There is another video coming out on Wednesday of some of the stuff I've been doing around the garden that explains it a tiny bit as well. But yeah, the fish are making a full recovery. There could be some long-lasting, obviously, side effects, so I'm not 100% out of the woods yet, because whatever it was has damaged, you know, some of the fish. So whether it's, you know, damaged their gills and whatnot as well, only time will tell. Gills can heal, not very well, but they can heal depending on the extent of the damage. But yeah, let me spin you around and show you we've got some smiley, happy faces at the window asking for more food. Makes a nice change. Yeah, I'm out here, so they're up there, back to the way things should be. The whiteness from the water, whatever it was in the pond, has almost gone. We're back to the sort of greeny colour it was before. Yes, I know I need to clean the window. But yeah, I don't know if the 2 fish that have been damaged the most are going to come up to the window. But this guy, you'll see on Wednesday's video, the Surrogoi obviously went really pale. I don't know whether that was just because obviously every bit of mucus was missing from every single fish. There wasn't even a bit of mucus to scrape, to do any scrapes or anything like that. So yeah, no mucus on any fish. So whatever it was that was in the pond stripped all the mucus off. It blistered all this guy's carp pox. As you can see now, his fin has always had carp pox, but his fin has now been damaged and torn. His tail actually looks a bit better now, but yeah, all his carp pox blistered, and you can see the state of his mouth, bless him. He really got burnt, bless him. And one you haven't seen yet, which is, he's the only one that's still sulking now. As I say, the Surrogoi was swimming around with a clamped fin for 3 or 4 days, but he's back to normal now. And the other one that's really bad, a few of them had red skin and burnt skin from whatever it was that was in the water, but the only one that's still suffering with badly burnt skin is the small Deutz Benikikikuru. Yet the other 2 Deutzes, the big Benikikikuru and the Deutz Showa there, was hardly affected at all. I mean, them 2 didn't even come out of this pond. They managed to stay in this pond all throughout this whole saga and the water changes. But yeah, where is he? He is still sulking, I'm afraid, a bit at the minute. He's always hiding down the bottom somewhere. There is a slight view of him on Wednesday's video coming out, but no, it doesn't look like we're going to see him today. He is still eating, not a lot, but yeah, his skin unfortunately is a bit burnt. No ulcers, no, you know, marks or anything like that. It's just almost looks like cart pox now, from where his skin has been sort of burnt and blistered. But yeah, he's on the mend anyway, so hopefully give it another week or so and he'll be back up at the window with the rest of them. Fingers crossed. But yeah, no, all making an absolute full recovery and all eating. Let's get a bit of their food. They haven't been fed for most of the day. We are feeding very, very sparingly at the minute because the water tests, they're still showing no ammonia and no nitrite, but again, whatever it is that's gone into the pond, I don't know if it has affected the filter, so they're literally getting that per feed. So some aren't probably getting any food because obviously the big ones will take the majority of it, but I don't want to overpower the food. But as you can see, look, they're all, I mean, it's pretty much gone already. Maybe they can have a tiny bit more. I think the Jin Matsuba stole pretty much all of that. I'm kind of splitting it between the airline at the minute. The airline pushes half the food along that way, so and then I chuck some that side as well, so it pushes it half along that way. But yeah, so good news on that front. It was just the 7 on the day that we lost. Even the smaller fish, I mean, it's the wrong time of day really to get any good views of them because the glare is going to be really bad in here, but we'll open it up and try and have a look anyway. I literally just chucked a handful of food in here before I turn the camera on, but we'll see if we can get you a bit of a view. Yeah, as you can see, they're all happy as Larry. Still got a bit of food kicking about on the surface in there, but these guys are really shy since the event. I mean, they were shy anyway, but they're even more shy now. Not my friends anymore at the minute. But yeah, in regards to my thoughts on what it was that was added to the water, I really don't think it was deliberate, personally. I mean, there's always the chance, I can't rule it out 100%, but yes, CCTV was delivered today, so I'll be putting that up this weekend. And yeah, obviously the bottom of my garden is right down there behind all the rubbish, so for anyone to actually, I really don't think it was any of my neighbours, but for them to climb over that fence, because it is dead bolted and got a key lock on there as well, so they'd have to climb over that fence, climb over all the rubbish at night without making any loud noises, and there's an awful lot of crap they can knock over there, that's for sure. And then they've obviously would have had to walk past that pond and then put something in there. The only other thing, a few people said, oh, maybe it was a dishwasher tablet or washing machine tablet, or maybe even a bar of soap. I'll explain why that's green in a minute. But yeah, people said that, and then a few people re-commented afterwards saying, oh no, you've got nets over your pond. Yes, I do have nets over my pond, but although they look tight, they're not. If something was to land on there, it would sit like that until it dissolved. So, you know, my nets are only held in place by, you know, they're not pinned down or nailed down uber nice and tight. So, you know, depending if someone did throw something, look, you know, it would quite happily sit like that, and until I yank the net back, it will stay like that. So that is a possibility, that someone has thrown dishwasher tablet or something along those lines, because one dishwasher tablet in the pond, you're not going to get much of a smell, that's for sure. So yeah, that's the one option that it could be. As I say, I really don't think anyone's come into the garden, but there is a chance someone's thrown something into the garden. But my thoughts is, as you can see, like I mentioned on the video before, I have been up there with me pole, and you'll see in that corner there, if I zoom in for a second, I'm a bit cold, so excuse the bit of shakiness, but I cleaned out my guttering the other day. I'd already cleaned the roof once, but I cleaned out my guttering the other day, and as you can see, that's all the moss that I could reach, because my pole isn't long enough to stand from here to get all the way up there. so I was hanging out of that bedroom window and got as much out of the gutter as I can, and out that bedroom window, because these are a very long line of terraces that come from that way. Again, excuse the shaking, my apologies. And they go all the way down that way, and I don't know if any water can run off them roofs as well, but because of the amount of moss that's currently up on our roofs at the moment, I don't know if you could be able to see it from back here, it's as high as I can get you, but yeah, I don't know if anyone's been up there spraying moss killer, weed killer. I mean, it could have just been a neighbour, you know, spraying weed killer generally around their garden, and it's blown over the fence. Could have been a pigeon has sat in weed killer and went for a swim on the pond, because as I've just shown you guys, pigeons are always sitting on my net and bathing in the pond. So could have been that. But my biggest thoughts is that something has washed off the roof up there onto my pergola, down the pergola, and although I've got guttering, has splashed over the guttering, which is overhanging the pond, and splashed in the pond, because it did rain that night, which is one of the reasons a lot of people have said because there was a storm that night, it might have been low oxygen levels. The symptoms look the same as low oxygen levels, obviously fish floating, bobbing on the water, some of them gasping for air, but low oxygen levels don't strip all the mucus off the koi and don't burn the skin, so not an oxygen depletion. But either way, whatever it was, we've managed to save the majority of them, thank the Lord. Thank the Lord. I am still uber gutted over the ones that I've lost, so I'm just putting the lid back on the food, because I know what I'm like. I'll walk in the house and I'll completely forget, and then it'll get all damp. I've done that before, many a times. It's another reason why I only leave small pots out here and leave the rest in the filter house, because then it don't all go damp and don't lose that much then. But yeah, whatever it was, as I say, it's done its thing. I changed 80% of water on the day, and then obviously, as I said in the video, I turned the drum to clean every 5 minutes and turn the trickle in up as high as I can put it without worrying about chlorine. So yeah, by the end of that day and by the next morning, probably over 100% water changed. Ah, here he is. Let me see if I can get you a quick shot before he swims away. You can see him there, look. All that burn around his face. It is getting less and less, granted. It's actually receded a lot. But yeah, it's not too bad on that side, but on his other side, again, he's got a few burn marks, and his dorsal fin looks like it's taken a bit of a battering. But again, he's another one, not only being Deutz, he's another one that suffers with carp pox. So whatever the chemical was in the water, whether it's reacted to the carp pox, and that's what's caused most of the burns. So I've got other Deutz fish in there that, yeah, went a bit pink, but I could put that down to stress, you know. But yeah, either or, I am literally just waffling, but I just wanted to let you all know tonight that most of the fish have survived. I mean, with all the fish that was in the net, I mean, we all know I'm overstocked, but there was about 50 fish in there. But yeah, lost 7, the rest are all fine. It was 50-50 as well, really. I lost 3 or 4 from the green net and 3 or 4 from the main pond, so yeah. What can you do? What can you do? Not a great deal. But yeah, I mean, you can still see they're all absolutely begging. Let me zoom you back out again. All begging for food. But I'm sorry guys, you and the guys in the net are all on minimal food at the minute, I'm afraid. Minimal. The fry, on the other hand, their appetite. In fact, let's go and have a quick look, why not? Oh yeah, because of said events as well, most of you will already know, Steve from Cat and I Koi is just up the road from me, both being from Peterborough. He dropped me a message and said, could I make use of his, sorry about the wind guys, it's again another breezy day. Not windy that side of the garden, never is, only windy this side of the garden. But yeah, could I make use of his old pond nets? And if it was anyone throwing anything over the fence, they will help prevent it. They don't fit perfectly and they are a bit small, but something will happen with them. Because I've said to a few people that have messaged me privately in regards to the situation, so I'm just opening the cover. But yes, I am working on the 2 preventions to prevent that happening again. 1, obviously said covers, and 2, I'm going to be putting a splash guard up along the pergola, because water does overrun the guttering on a really heavy downpour. I was asleep by the time it started storming that night. But yeah, if it's really bad, it does overrun on that guttering, and it does then run obviously down the pergola and land in the pergola's guttering, which if it's again really heavy, not only is it overrunning from the roofs up here, it's also then got a chance of overrunning on that guttering, because all the extra rain landing on that roof and washing down as well. But yeah, let me spin you around and just show you these guys real quick. Yeah, they're doing uber fantastic. I have actually turned the heater on. I'm going to do a heat cycle on these just to be on the safe side. As I say, I'm 99.9% sure it's nothing to do with any disease, but a couple of people have commented and said, what if it is a disease, and all that kind of thing. So yeah, we're up to 21 degrees so far in there. It is uber nice and warm, uber nice and warm. Yes, it's costing me an absolute fortune. Don't ask me how much, because I don't want to know. And put it this way, I put 50 quid on the electric the day that I turned this heater on. 4 days later, I was putting another 50 quid on. Gone in 4 days. Obviously that's the house electric, because I'm on a pay-as-you-go meter. That is the house electric, obviously, as well as the ponds. But yeah, 50 quid in the space of 3.5, 4 days. Ouch. Haven't told my missus. Don't tell her. But yeah, that's it. I'm just waffling. The fryer fed, the fryer happy. I've had no losses at all in the fry vat. Not one, which I'm doing quite well with them. The fry I got from Jack so far, in total, I've lost 7. And the fry that I bred myself, in total, I've only lost 2. And that was months ago. So, yeah, we're doing good. We are doing very good. But yeah, obviously Steve, bless his heart, has helped me out with the covers. Oh yeah, I did mention, I was going to say why that's all green. It's actually been about a week and a half since that event, because by the time that video went out, it was already a week prior to that, and obviously we're now another half a week on. So yeah, after the event, and once everything had settled down and the fish had started acting like this again, the one that was swimming around, the Soragoi with a clamp fin, I just wanted to check on him why he's got a clamp fin, and did find, not a lot, not like a massive outbreak, but did find some costia behind his fins. Did a pec fin scrape, and yeah, bit of costia, but I'm guessing that was brought on by all the stress that they all suffered with. But yeah, that is why that bit of wood is green, because they have just finished their FMG, well, their first course of FMG, and that's probably why the water's still a bit green, to be honest. Yes, I know, was it safe to be putting more chemicals into the water after the other chemicals, but at the end of the day, the amount of water I've changed over the last couple of weeks with the speed that the trickle in's been running on, it's only been turned off since 2-3 days ago, when I put the course of FMG in, because obviously I didn't want to dilute that, so I've put the drum back to cleaning once every half an hour. went only trickling off. But yeah, so although I said it was going to be a short video, apologies guys, it's been like 20 odd minutes. So yeah, thanks all for watching from me and the fish, who are starting to get happy again. We'll catch you all on the next one.